What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? Your buddy Big Johnny G from Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming is back again, everyone. I'm so glad to be back. I'm glad people are still subscribing, checking out our Facebook page, our Instagram, our Twitter. Thank you. It's all really great. It's really cool. And it's just, did I say it's great? All right. So what we're doing today is a how-to play. Yes, sirree, another how-to play. And this one is by Black Oak Games, and it's called Not Dice. Yeah. So this game, I'm going to show you how to play, and hopefully you're gonna dig it. So why don't we unbox the game, put it out, and get started. All right, so we're going to go over first very quickly. There's a couple of just general rules that hold true through most of the dozen games that the rule book has in it. We're going to go over a couple of them, but first I just want to say a couple of things about the general rules on the game. Now, when you're moving dice, as you can see, this is all about dice, right? Very nice dice too. Very, very nice dice. What you got to remember is when you're moving the dice around, you are able to turn them clockwise or counterclockwise, but you are not allowed to flip them like this. Now, there are specific rules for each of the 12 games, and they'll get more in depth. They may alter some of the general rules, but always remember that you're able to turn them, twist them, but you can't flip them. That's something you can't do. Now, when you are playing, what you have to remember is the connecting of them, because this game is all about the Celtic knotwork. So you're trying to make art is what you're trying to make. So when you're connecting them, you always want to make sure that they are able to connect. That would be a good connection. That one you could not do. And complete designs is when you have several connecting points and they all have an end. So it's one continuous line. This would not be a complete design, obviously, because it leaves room for another one to put down. It has an opening, connecting point, so that wouldn't be any good at all for you. You definitely want to make sure that you can close everything off, and then you've made a complete design. So that's generally the way the game is going to play, but there are variations in some of the games itself. We're going to take a look at two of the games right now. The first game, the starter game with it, is known as the Kells game. So in the Kells game, what you're going to do is that, I'll leave that there, is that you're going to place all the dice into, you're going to have a pile handy here, somewhere near the players. And then each player is going to take two dice. You're going to take two dice and you're going to roll them. So this is what I would have to start with. When you decide on the starting player, then that player is going to have the option of taking another die. Actually, it's not so much an option. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take another die and you're going to roll it. So now you have three dice in your collection here that you're going to be able to work with. So you're going to want to put one down to start the design off with. Now you can take two actions. You can take an unused die from the pool when it's your turn, and you can be able to roll it as you just saw, or you're going to be able to discard one of the dice from the game. So, like if I didn't like the collection that I had, and I didn't think I was able to, we're never going to have more than three, and I decided that there's nothing I can really do for the design, I can't decide to take one and discard it back into the box. However, you got to be careful when you do this, because if you discard three dice, you lose. Game over. You can never discard three or more dice, or it's all over. So discarding dice can be very, very tricky. Now, in this game, the Kells, what you're doing is that you're trying to basically make a completed design. This game can be played with anywhere from 1 to 3 players. You can play 4 players if you have the deluxe box or a secondary of the basic box. And this is just the basic box. The deluxe comes with 2 sets of dice and has a really nice carry bag that comes in it for the dice from what I've seen. And this is what you're going to do. When you complete the design, then you're going to win if you don't discard more than 3. And you're going to use as many dice as you can. Then you're going to end up scoring. Now, the scoring on this it took me a moment when I was reading through it, but it all actually made sense. So let's say during the course of the game, we get a design like this. This is going to keep going. Let's put this one out here. Centerpiece. Put the... even knowing what I'm doing and sort of cheating like this, it's still not always that easy to see what's going on. I'm going to want to put that one down there. Okay. Cap that off as well. Put this over here. This is getting out of hand already. All right. This is definitely going crazy on me. Oh, see, that doesn't work. See that? That would not work at all. Let me change that up. Let's do that. That looks interesting, huh? And let's say we put a cap on. We had the caps, so we put caps on each of these. So for scoring, what you're going to do is you're going to add up the number of dice that were used to create this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So it took 13 dice to create this. And you're going to look at the longest dimension, which in this case is going to be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So either way works. So you're going to subtract those two numbers, and that's going to give you your score for the game. And the book even has, let me show you, it has, tells you exactly how well that you've done. So this was not very good. 10 or less needs work. Needs work. And I put that together without even any luck of the rolls just to show you what it was like. And it's going to get a little difficult. It's tricky. Difficult's a strong word, but it is going to get tricky. And that's how you're going to play the first game, Kells. Very simple game, very easy to do, but not very easy to master. Now, like I said, there's a dozen games itself in the game book. I'm going to go over a second game that we found very, very interesting, very fun. And that's the third game listed in the rules book, the game book, and that's called Kells the Abbey. And the idea behind this is that you are craftsmen working on the wall of an abbey trying to put a knot design, onto the abbey wall. Now, what we found very interesting about this game is it's not played like this. It's not played as you would expect, just looking down at the dice, but instead, which is why I have this out ready to show you, this is a game that's actually played sideways because you're building a wall. All right? So, the objective of this game is to use as many of the dice in the entire set that you have as possible. Any unused dice that you don't use, you are not going to be able to use in the next round. This game is played over several rounds. You're trying to make as many abbey walls as possible during those turns. So if you discard any dice, or if any dice after your first wall are unused, like if all these were unused, then they're going in the box, and now we only have these dice to play with for the second wall. So setup is pretty much the same. You're going to place all the dice into a central area for the players. Each player, again, is going to take any 2 dice from that central area, and they're immediately going to roll it. Now, this is another cooperative game. Now, the player, it suggests how to choose first player is the player that has most recently seen a mural, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that at all as a way to choose first player. So that's what it suggests. Now, as I said, this plays as the Kells game that I just showed you, but there's going to be a few differences with that. The first difference is that when you are adding a die, you may place it next to another die without actually connecting it to its to its, like you could do, get this up here so you can see it better. You would be able to do, well, see now this you can't do. I'll mention that right now because the opening can never touch the table. So let's say you did that. You could place another one like this. Now the reason for that is because this means you are starting on a second design. You're starting on a second design. Now remember, by the time this round is over, any of the dice that don't connect aren't going to be part of the design, so you're going to lose them. So if you do this, keep in mind that you're going to have to do something for that second design, even if it's a quick closing off of it. But yes, you can do that. Now another difference is that when you finish a design, you can continue with it on the second design. Kind of repeated myself there. Sorry about that. But that goes hand in hand. I kind of mentioned both of them at once there. I got a little ahead of myself. Now the third is that you are building a vertical wall, so you must connect the front-facing dice, not the top. Remember when I was showing you the Kells, you're connecting the top of the dice. So you always have to keep in mind that you're not doing that here. The tops of the dice are meaningless for you. You're concentrating on the side there that you can see. Now you can use any of the sides that you roll, as long as you don't flip it. So if you wanted to, you could use this side or any of the four sides that are showing. Now you might think to yourself, well, that's going to make it a lot easier. No, it doesn't. It does not make it a lot easier, that's for sure. It gives you a lot more options, of course, but having a lot of options isn't always a good thing, actually. And as I said, the paths cannot extend down into the table. That's bad. Now, when all the dice are used that you have out, your design is done. And when that happens, you're going to discard all the dice that are not in the complete design. So as I said, if you started a second design but you didn't do anything with it, that's gone. That's gone. So for the next turn, you're only going to be able to use the remaining dice, as I mentioned earlier, to build up the second wall. So I'm just going to give you a quick show to show you, because I think this looks really cool. So let's see here. Let's give you a little bit of a design and show you how this Abbey wall will end up looking. Let's see. Let's do that, right? Let's do that. Right there. And that right there. Looking kind of cool, right? You're not sure what to look at yet. The top of the side. Remember, you're looking at the side. You're looking at the side. So you would want to connect that. So you might use this to connect that. Right, like that. And you see the Abbey wall is getting built. It's coming along nicely. Now let's see. We could put another one of those in. Can we get that going? No. No. But we could get it the other way, right? Could get it that way. Because that's everything is connected that's opening. All right. So then we could do that. And then we could do this. And then I think we could do that, right? How's that look? There you go. There's a section of the Abbey wall that's built and complete, and that's the way it's going to look. And I obviously I have not seen every single game that's ever been made, but I got to say this much. I've never seen a dice game where you're actually building things vertically. And that definitely caught our attention. Definitely. And the game also comes with an entire book of puzzles. I believe there's 9 puzzles in here. And you're going to see the puzzles. The puzzles all play very interesting. You choose one of the puzzle designs. You see they're all broken up. They're not connected at all. And you're going to have to try using methods where you can't touch the center die. So in the 3x3s, that's kind of easy. There's only one die you can't touch. that's right in the middle. But as you can tell, it gets a little harder on the 4x4s because now you're dealing with 4 dice in the center that you can't touch. And how are you going to be able to touch those? Well, one way is by changing a whole line. You can actually take an entire line. I know this isn't the design, but just to show you what it means, you can take an entire line and you can move it. You can move it like that. You can move it. So therefore, the middle die is going to be changed and you're going to be able to get to it. And the other thing that you can do is that you can change the positioning of single dice. And that's it. That's it for the puzzle. Again, it seems and it sounds very easy. And it is once you get the hang of it, but the first couple of times you play it, it can be a little daunting. Especially when you're looking at such a mixed up design where the lines aren't going where they're supposed to be. It kind of does a little trick on the mind. So, not dice, with the puzzles and with the games, that's what you're looking at. And like I said, 12, 9, it comes with a lot of things to do. You can go online. They have other options online that you can, how you can play with the dice. This game has so much replayability that I can't even count how many different times you can play this, and every single time is going to be different. This may be one of the most replayable games that are currently on our shelves right now. But by Black Oak Games, that's not dice. So let me give you a final word on it. Now, something else I wanted to mention: the center of each of the books, the games and the puzzles, has this right here for putting them down, so you can keep them in a little grid if you want, and a way to score. The game, if you saw from the unboxing, comes with these, and you're able to use them to keep track of the scores. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that as well. And that's how you play not dice. It is really simple. It is so easy. I just kept repeating myself, actually, telling you some of those rules, because that's all there is to it. Spinning dice, but not flipping them, placing them in order, making sure that the connections are opened up, making sure that none of the connections when you're building the vertical wall are going to go down into the table area that you're playing. And it's really simple. If it's such a simple game, it really makes you think. So that was not dice. I'm Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie Presents Legendary Gaming. Thank everyone for showing up. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for letting us in your computers. And I am